Since back when I enter. Now move on to point D, roll call for verification of quorum. Senate Secretary, you now have the floor.
Senator Green, Senator Bargamenta, Senator B. Carter, Senator J. Carter, Senator Climbs, Senator Snipes, Senator Antonor, Senator Dumas, Senator Hansberry,
Here.
Senator Holder, Senator Lamar, Senator LaVille, Senator McClinton, Senator Seniors, Senator Myers, Senator Strong, Senator D. Ford, Senator Butterfield, Senator D. Jackson, Senator Plaisir, Senator Williams, Senator Young, Senator Knox, Senator Miller,
Present.
Senator Jean-Baptiste,
Present.
Senator Hall,
Present.
Senator J. Jackson,
Present.
Senator Rios,
Present.
Senator Eden, Senator Osborne,
Present.
Senate Pro Tem Morissette, Senate President Ford.
Present. Now moving on to point E, approval of agendas and minutes. Now this is our first meeting of the semester. There are no minutes that need to be approved. Now move on to the agenda. Please, if you would like to add anything to this agenda, please do so now. Yes, Senator J. Jackson.
I would like to add SAB 17SP -001 to the agenda tonight. Reinstatement of Senate pay.
If I'm going to second to add SB 18SP001 to the agenda. Is there awareness at this time? Seeing none. Anyone else? Senator Carter, don't you have a motion to add?
I would like SR 18SP
003.
003, honoring the life of Anaya Brown.
Is there a second to this motion? Second. If I'm in a second to add point 8 under new business, SR 18SP -003, the Anaya Brown resolution bill. Is there any more bills I'd like to be added at this time? Yes, Senator. Yes, acting Chair. Please.
It's not really. I don't really want to add anything. So point F, that's going to be specifically for Trey, the bill.
Yeah.
So
it's there. Oh, what are you talking about? The numbering?
no, I was just saying like in reflecting like the what is this called? The instead of it saying Fallen Rattlers, it should say him instead and then her name next. So it's because it says Fallen Rattlers on the agenda. So fix that. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Thank you. All right. Is there any other bills I'd like to add to the agenda at this time? Seeing none, I'll now accept motion to accept tonight's agenda.
Second.
He has to.
So moved. And then probably going to second to accept the first session of the fall 2018 semester agenda. Is there any readiness at this time? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Now we on to point 8, introduction guests and speakers. Is anyone to my left, your right in the gallery that'd like to introduce themselves at this time? Well, thank you all for coming to the first Senate meeting of the spring semester. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday break and are excited to be back here on the Hill. Now moving on to point H, announcements and committee reports, starting with the ANS liaison. You have now the floor, Senator Hansberry.
Good evening, everyone. Senator Williams, past ANS liaison, sent out in November the report for the ANS agency, so we're going to follow through with that, and we'll hopefully start back up with the reports on the next meeting. Hopefully I'm going to try to at least get my report on the next meeting. And the report is also found online of how to conduct the ANS report with the agency. So you can find that on the SGA website, and you can also find that within our personal group me. But we are going to try to keep on the schedule of the ANS departments, especially now being that these departments come up for funding for the budget, and so it would be grateful to understand what they need before we even start processing with the budget, which really need to be in the next 2 months, this month and February. So if you can, even though I know that, I don't know if she put a date on here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she didn't put a date for each person to present for the ANS agency.
Senator Williams, did you or did you not put a date?
I think I did.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look back into it, and if there's a date, then I hope that we can all make sure that we, keep up with our responsibility and contact the agency. And if not, then I'm going to set aside some dates. But that'll be all. Thank you.
Any questions for the ANS liaison at this time? Seeing none, thank you. Senator Rios, the Organization and Finance Chair, you now have the floor.
I hope everyone had a great winter break. Glad to be back here at FAMU. So OFC actually met today. We met at 3:30. Like we probably will we're going to start meeting on Fridays. We're going to see what's up with everyone else's schedule within the committee, and then we'll get back to the broader group. But we actually passed the bill we moved it to not pass the bill, but we moved it to be, I guess, for the second hearing. Moved for second hearing. Or is it first, Jeff?
The bill, you're speaking of the bill for real estate Senate pay.
For reinstate. Yeah, so that's about it.
Any questions for OFC Chairman Senator Rios at this time? Seeing none, thank you. Acting ENA Chairman Senator Miller, now the floor.
Welcome back, everybody. ENA will be having their first meeting this Wednesday, but we'll be changing our meeting day due to everybody's schedule changing for the spring. And right now, we're planning the 5,000 voter strike. The name is we're changing the name basically, just to give it a new feel since it hasn't been around for a while. And that's about it.
I do have a question. What would be the name, or have y'all not decided just yet?
We're still debating the name for the event.
Senator Beckman, now enter. Thank you. Any further questions for Acting ENA Chairman Senator Miller? Seeing none, now moving on to SRC.
Greetings, senators. Greetings, students. I'm glad that you all are back today. I am Jalen Jackson, chairman of the Student Relations Committee. We host meetings every Wednesday from 4 to 6 o'clock. This semester, those meetings may be changing due to schedule changes for a few of my committee members, so those details will be coming up soon. Beyond that, Senator Dumas and Senator Bargamento will be spearheading the strike team interest meeting, the first general body meeting. That'll be this Friday from 6 p.m. to 7. We're working to have it here in the Senate chambers. And beyond that, we should be working with the what's the branch called? The E branch. Working with them for a Be Out Day, and just getting fired up for the spring semester, and also working on the strikeout showcase. So, looking forward to working with you guys. Hope y'all have a great semester.
Any questions for Senator Jerry Jackson? Seeing none, now we want to IDSC Chairwoman, Senator Hall.
Hey y'all. Good evening, everybody. So IDSC did not meet today. My schedule changed for this semester, and I believe a lot of other vice chairs, schedule has changed as well. So we should have a new committee time, hopefully by the end of this week, for us to meet. Beyond that, I did not receive any recommendations at the end of the fall semester as far as what you all felt you needed more training on. So if I could also get some emails, text messages, group meetings, anything like that, as far as what you all feel you need to be more abreast on for the first training of this spring semester. If I can get those by the end of the week, that would be helpful. So yeah, that's pretty much it for IDSC for right now.
Any questions for Senator Hall right now? Seeing none, thank you. Acting J&R Chairman, Senator Andrew Baptiste, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. There are no reports right now from J9.
Senator Osborne, you have the floor as acting pro temp.
Good evening, everyone. The Senate Executive Committee is still working on a time for the spring semester. So as soon as we know, I'm sure Rashard will let you all know. That is all.
Now moving on to point H, Executive Branch reports. Is there anyone here from the Executive Branch who'd like to give a report at this time tonight? Thank you. Is there anyone here from the J Branch who'd like to give a report that's in the audience tonight? Seeing none, thank you. We're now moving on to point I, Campus Activities Board report. There is none. Now moving on to point J, Lobs and Speakers. SRC Chairman, you now have the floor.
Oh, nobody's gonna allow me to speak. So.
Moving on to point K, ANS Liaison reports.
There are none.
Moving on to point L, University Liaison reports. There are none. Moving on to point M, second roll call. Senator Secretary, you now have the floor.
Senator Green. Senator Bargamento.
Present.
Senator B. Carter. Senator J. Carter.
Present.
Senator Climbs. Senator Snipes.
Here.
Senator Antonor.
Here.
Senator Dumas.
Present.
Senator Hansberry.
Here.
Senator Holder. Senator Lamar.
Present.
Senator LaVille.
Present.
Senator McClinton. Senator Seniors. Senator Myers.
Present.
Senator Strong. Senator D. Ford. Senator Butterfield. Senator D. Jackson. Senator Pozier.
Here.
Senator Williams. Senator Young. Senator Knox. Senator Miller.
Here.
Senator Jean Baptiste.
Here.
Senator Hall.
Present.
Senator J. Jackson.
Present.
Senator Rios.
Present.
Senator Eden. Senator Osborne.
Present.
Senate Pro Tem Morissette. Senate President Ford.
President. Now moving on to point N, confirmations. There are none at this time. Moving on to point O, this is the first meeting of the fall semester, so there is no unfinished business at this time. Now moving on to P. Now moving on to point P, new business, with author of SB 18SP001, homecoming title. Please approach the podium. That is myself. Senator Osborne, please take the chair.
Senator Antonor.
Starting from the second, where it's closed. Whereas it is also the duty of students and the Student Government Association to ensure that governing documents facilitate best practices and procedures so that our student body may be well served. And whereas the system of student body statutes of Florida and University are arguably outdated and do not address homecoming from a logistical standpoint. And whereas it is imperative that we, legislative branch of the Student Government Association, work to provide a whole, cohesive, logical, and practical set of governing documents that can thrive for years to come. Now, therefore, be enacted. Title 15, Homecoming Steering Committee of the Student Body Statute, be read as the following. Here we go. Just so we all have a holistic approach of what to take place. Title 15 Homecoming Steering Committee, Chapter 1400. The name of the committee shall be Homecoming Committee, which is a subsidiary of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University and Government Association. Chapter 4, Chapter 400, Chapter 1401. Purpose. Point 8. Plan a memorable celebration of that unifies the FAMU community with spirit, service, and tradition. B, to give a sense of purpose, duty, and leadership in putting together a series of large events. C, act as liaison between the student body and alumni. Chapter 1402, membership. Point A, membership of the Homecoming Committee shall consist of the following. A, the Vice President of Student Government Association, who is a non-voting member. B, one member of the Executive Branch appointed by the District President. One member of the Legislative Branch appointed by the Senate President. One member from the Judicial Branch appointed by the Chief Justice. Six members from the student body at large who serve as subcommittee chairs, event leads on the different events for homecoming, i.e., housing step show, fashion block party, etc. Moving on. 1402.1 qualifications of members. Point 1. The chairperson of the homecoming committee shall do the same requirements as the SGA Vice President, which is stated in the Florida State by Statutes, Chapter 608.1, Section 8.1. B. Point 2. All members must be visiting from the university. Point 3. All student members must maintain a 2.3 minimum cumulative grade point average. Are there any questions thus far on what I said? Yeah. 2.
On the qualifications of members, the home, the reason. They said you. Military.
Well, we can work on that. 2.59. We'll just 2.15. 2.5.
Yes.
Wasn't it tired, y'all? Thank you. Now moving on to selection of non-SGA members. Point A, the homecoming committee chairperson shall advertise a 6 homecoming member position for 10 calendar days. Student body at large communication, i.e., iStrike, FAMU Info, Blackboard, official FAMU social media accounts, etc. B. Once the application period has expired, the homecoming committee chairperson shall set interviews with potential homecomers no more than 48 hours after the deadline. C. After the interviews, the homecoming committee chairperson shall have one business meeting from the student body who was selected for the homecoming. Any questions on what I said thus far? Number 1402.3, number 10, all homecoming meetings. B, present a report of homecoming committees. Point C, work with joint operations leads on ensuring the success of the Chapter 1403, officers of the homecoming committee shall consist of chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. Qualifications of office. A. Must be in business university. Must have a 2.5 election. Point A. The officers with the homecoming chairperson elected by the members of the committee in majority vote. Point B. Election of the vice chairperson and secretary shall take place by the second homecoming meeting, at which at least 6 members must be present. Tenure of all officers except for homecoming committee chairperson shall end at the end of the fall semester. We want to do the homecoming committee officer. Chairperson. A. Chairperson shall preside at all committee meetings. B. Call special meetings when necessary. C. Serve as a student account officer for the committee. D. Present updates to the student senate. E. Present the A&S 82 report for homecoming to the student senate once homecoming is complete. F. Serve as a liaison between the student body and alumni and planning homecoming. G. Create subcommittees for homecoming. Now move on to the vice chair. Act as a parliamentarian at homecoming committee meetings. serve as an ex officio member of all subcommittee, assist the homecoming committee chair in fulfilling duties, serve as homecoming committee chair in absence of chair. Secretary shall prepare and read minutes during the meetings, prepare the agenda with the assistance of the committee chair person, compile a binder to present to the homecoming committee chairperson. I'm going to the advisor. The advisor of the homecoming committee shall be the student government association director or his or her designee. Next up, subcommittees. Subcommittees are open to any student for the university. Any student wishing to be a part of the subcommittee must talk to the subcommittee chairperson. All subcommittee chairpersons must list the members to the homecoming committee chairperson and secretary. Limitation of powers. In no way will this document or any other document or the decision of the committee look at any state statutes, policies of the university, and as listed in the thing, to the government association constitution, the statutes, and any other decision, and any other decision, complaint shall take such action. Motion meetings. All meetings must open according to state statutes. Meetings shall be first and second time, and they shall vote on first meeting. Special meetings are by the chairperson with 24-hour notice. Subcommittee meetings must follow the same rules. Homecoming voting. The quorum for the homecoming team shall consist of one half of the membership. The chairperson and able to vote in the case of a tie. The advisor shall never be able to vote. All official members to vote within the decision of the committee. Only committee members to vote. And that's all. Well, this is all first reading, so this is question to intent and intent only.
Is there any questions of intent? Senator Hansberry?
So this was published.
Is there any more additional questions? Seeing none, seeing you next week for second reading. Moving on to point P, new business. Subpoint B, SB 18 SP-002, strike team IROP. Will the author please come up?
Sorry from the second whereas clause. Whereas it is also due to student government association to ensure that governing documents facilitate best practices and procedures so that a student body may be well served. And whereas the strike team is a staple part of AMD community, however, lacks rules and regulations to protect the deputy and strike team. And whereas it is imperative that we, the National Student Association, provide a whole, cohesive, logical, and practical set of governing documents to sustain the organization. Now, therefore, be enacted the strike team rules and procedures. And those Senator Bartlett said there's some grammatic errors, which are on Section 1, strike team. The name of the organization shall be the strike team, which will be subsidiary of Florida Agricultural Association. Section 2, purpose. Purpose of the strike team shall be is the following: A, to prevent school spirit of intent. B, to establish a good relations to be family athletics. C, to increase school spirit. Section membership. Chairperson. Section 3, chairperson. The student relations committee chairperson or his or her designation chairperson. Right. And the reason why I chose the student relations committee chairperson is because when you look at our documents, every other chair is also a chair of another committee. Mostly is the chair of the ASPC. ENA is the chair of the election reform committee. JNFI is the chair of the electronic regulation committee. Yeah, stuff like that. I just want to give them, something so that everybody's uniform. Next up, general membership. Any and all enrolled students at Florida University can be members of the strike team. Point C, voting membership. Point A, any student with missing university, any student enrolled in a having a minimum of 12 credit hours. The reason why I said that, so case person will join. And the technical are depending on 12 credit hours. Next up is having two day. Yes.
So is the 12 credit hours supposed to be for when they come back in the spring session?
It's just
Oh, I'm sorry. This is voting. This is not.
No, it's just. So again.
It's just voting. Correct.
Yeah, it's just because any student can be a part. It's just a member that. Any student who fills out the semester strike team membership form, time and place to where the form shall be determined by the chair. That way they know who is in the strike team position. Official membership. Official membership. Voting job. There's position. Subtitle I. Bring. Subtitle I2. The morning bring. I3, Secretary of Athletic Affairs. Section for duties of members. The duties of the members of the strike team are 10 strike team meetings, 10 strike team events, work with officers. Section 5, officers. Officers of the strike team consist of chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. Okay, all persons of officers must be missing university, have a 2.5 million method of elections. Officers of the strike team, the chairperson, be elected by the members, majority vote. Elections of the vice chair, secretary, just like for the second strike team meeting, at least 12 members present. See, committee chairperson shall protect the rules, limitations, and restrictions for positions. Tenured of all the officers shall. Section 5. Chairperson. The chairperson shall preside at all committee meetings, all functions needed, present updates to the Senate, on time, establish something to handle the day-to-day committee. Appoint sub-committee chairpersons. B. Vice chair. Act as parliamentarian in strike team meetings, serve as official officer, voting member of all subcommittees, assist chairperson in full duties, serve as chairperson. Secretary shall prepare and meet minutes during meetings, prepare assistance of the committee chairperson, compile a binder to present. Section 6. The advisor of the strike team shall Section 7. Parliamentary procedures. This order shall govern strike team. Section 8. Powers. No way committee. State statute. Health of the University as this may government constitution, statutes, and any or all and or even decision by shall take up such violation. Section 9. Subcommittee. Subcommittees are issued for the university. These should be requirements as subcommittee chair. All subcommittee chair, strike team chairperson, and secretary. Section 10. All meetings shall be open to statutes. Meetings shall be held twice a month. Official time of the day shall be void on the person. See, special meetings may be called by the chairperson 24 hours notice. The subcommittee meetings must follow the same rule the strike team meeting guidelines. Section 11 voting. A quorum of the strike team shall consist of 12 members. The chairperson of the committee is only able to vote at the time that advisors shall never be able to vote. Section 12 ratification. Any alternate to this document can be voted.
Senator Antonor, you had your hand up.
Yes. My question is, all right, this might seem like a very general question, but under section 2, purpose, point B, it says to establish and clear relations with family and athletics. Why is it specific? That I know last time the guy he came basically talked about how again everybody but why is it specific? Isn't there any entities on that
I get what you're saying. This whole purpose strike team argumental speaking at any time is to basically like promote and this way do that is with athletics team. You can't go to can't really cheer on a math competition. You can't really cheer on maybe like I like chess thing. So that's like that's what everybody out cheer them on me rattlers in all our glory. So that's why we can always put in the change of that.
Senator Plaisir.
I was going to add on to that response because they also need like a lot of support at their game, things like that. Which is like the main reason of the strike team. So that's why we make sure we're trying to prepare for them to show that like as a school support, SGA as an incentive that we're starting.
Senator Snipes.
Well, my biggest question would be, don't you feel like
that's why I put them as official members. And the thing with that is because since I've been here at FAMU, I know former King Warden Green Bears, to my knowledge, she's one that I know here for him. I know he started back. Then I think someone that between him, the other person between him and Brighton, they kind of off. So this is just a way to make sure that it's stable, and that's why they're a member of it, so they can have voting rights. Like, hey, I may want to be vice chair. This is that's why I'm pretty sure they were voting active members. Because who knows, one person, they may not, do as much strike team and stuff like that. It's just the way the jury is looked. Just make sure that strike team has guidelines that all about. That was some initiative for the old pay.
Is there any more questions of intent? Seeing none, see you next week for second reading. That being said, will the author of SB 18 SP-003, Title II, Second Revisions, please come up? Hello, everybody. Hope you all had an outstanding break. I'll be reading from the second whereas clause. Let me see if I can pull it up and pull it first. All right, so starting from the second whereas clause. Whereas the Student Senate carried out its duty to ensure that the governing documents facilitate best practices and procedures so that the student body may be well served by revising Title II of the System of Student Body Statutes. And whereas the revision of Title II does not propose an efficient process to address possible vacancies that may occur to ensure that may occur within the executive and judicial branches. And whereas it is of the utmost importance that the Student Senate proposes an efficient process to address possible vacancies to ensure that the autonomy of the Student Government Association is functioning at peak capacity. Now, therefore, be it enacted that Title II be amended as follows. The provisional language says all vacancies within the executive and judicial branches that carried over from the fall semester shall be filled as prescribed in this title revision. So, pretty much the purpose of this bill, before I read it out loud, is to fix the problem that I noticed with the Title II revision that we passed in the fall semester. So, with the order of succession within each department, if a vacancy, like let's say the department head, secretary, or director, if that person was terminated or resigned, we would have to advertise that position instead of having the deputy move up. Now, I understand the purpose of advertising it, because you want to be fair, first of all, and you want to make sure that you get the most qualified individual. However, the language was just too tedious and too extreme. So we would have to advertise the position for 10 business days. After the 10 business days applications are up, we would have to wait 5 days until that for the SGA president would have 5 days to appoint an individual, and then that person would have to go through committee, and then that person would have to go through on the floor for confirmation. That's 3 to 4 weeks easily. Now, once that position is filled, that's a whole month that the deputy could have just moved up and assumed that role. That's how it was before until we changed it, and I think it would be smart to just give the deputy a chance to just assume the role of secretary. All right, and so the changes made to this. Oh, also there's some minor corrections, like you'll see a if change. That was because it previously said in the event of. That's just two changes to that. Okay. So 102.4, immediately following an official resignation, termination, or failed second confirmation of a cabinet department head, the deputy of the department shall assume the duties of the department head. The deputy declines the duties of the department head. The student body president shall have 10 business days to advertise the new vacancy. So pretty much how I fixed it was, if that position is vacant, then you give the deputy a chance to assume the role. Just in case, the deputy does not want to assume the role of secretary, now we fall back to the old tedious advertising. All right. The student body president will then have 5 business days after the completion of the advertising period to recommend a new appointment to the Senate president and elections and appointments committee chair. And then 103.3, and this one is to just be fair. If a judicial appointment should fail to be confirmed by a 2/3 vote of the student senate for a second time, the appointee shall not be eligible to apply or be appointed for any judicial branch position within that school year, except with the exception of the clerk of court. And that was just to clear up the language that was there before. So pretty much I crossed out if a judicial appointment should fail to be confirmed by a 2/3 vote of the student senate for the second time, the student vice president shall have 5 business days after the second bill confirmation of the appointment to recommend a new appointment for the position. And I took that out because it's stated in 103.4 and it was very repetitive. Because literally in 103.4 it just says immediately following the official resignation, termination, or failed second confirmation. So pretty much it said the same thing twice. That being said, I also took out 103.5 subsection A, and that was just to be fair across the board because we approved the version of this title that took this language out from the executive branch, and I just thought it would be fair to have that even across the board in the judicial branch. That was with the student body president's time request for an extended time, I believe, for extended time for appointment. I can read it for you guys. It says the student body president may submit an appeal in writing to the elections and appointments committee chair for a 5-day extension. So that power was, I guess that power was taken out for executive appointments. So why would it be there for official appointment? That was just my train of thought, just to be fair across the board. I worked on this last week, I believe. It took 2 days because the language was very repetitive in there, and I think this would address the failed confirmation situations that may occur. So I hope never occurs. Sorry, really.
Any questions for Project Morissette on this bill? Senator Angelo, you have a question? No, it's on first reading. The question of intent and intent only. Seeing how there are no further questions, thank you. See you next week. Now moving on to point D, SR 18 SP 001 Alumni Marriage Bill. Under Snipes, you now have the floor. Yeah, you can make the motion.
I move to put this on first and second reading.
Point of information, you have to waive certain rules to put it on first and second reading.
I like to waive.
I would refer it to the JNR committee. JNR chair, sorry.
I would ask you to find the point and state your motion.
Yes, Senator Osborne.
Senator Snipes, what is the reason for putting this on first and second reading?
Well, I want to put all of the resolutions that are honoring or remembering individuals on first and second because they are resolution bills that they're not changing.
No, they haven't been through JNR.
JNR is here.
We're not in the JNR committee meeting.
We don't have to have a formal meeting. These aren't like bills.
Decorum. I'll suggest that you bring it to a vote, but from the general consensus, I think it would fail. But by all means, you have the right to make that motion. But as you can see from these disgruntled faces, it would probably fail.
Is there a discrepancy between putting bills on first and second?
Yes, Senator Strong, you now have the floor.
Well, me personally, I feel like certain should because a lot of people are too quick and still trying to run my friend.
Yes, Pro Temp.
Personally, the only resolutions that I feel should be put on first and second reading are those that are like, how do I say this, somber in nature, like the one honoring the fallen rattlers who passed this past Friday, and the late Emojas resolution. That's just my personal opinion.
That's what I said.
But I think, Jason, your bill has nothing to do with any of that.
Decorum.
Let me rephrase that. I'm not putting Rochards or Akeem's bills on because those are changing things. Those are changing our legislative practice. I'm talking about ones that are remembered.
Senator Snipes, as JNR chairwoman, I do not think it's a good idea to skip proper channels without good reason.
Decorum. Senator Hansberry.
What the Senate is saying is, like you said, resolution, following rapid. Sometimes you present the resolution at the hearing. So for those instances, that's what you should on first. But like you're saying, there's no reason. Just recognize that I'm not either going second reading. Five rush, but the point is going to change. But were you saying to put your other ones on first and second, the ones that are honoring the false rattlers, along with this one? Mm-hmm. So then when you come back up and can you make that waive the rules for those fallen rattlers that run through this?
Anyways, we're gonna start the second whereas clause. Whereas Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University alumni Keisha Lance Bottoms, Deanna Holiday Ingram, Booker T. Gaynor, and Melvin Carter were recently inaugurated into their respective mayoral positions throughout the nation at the beginning of 2018. Whereas Keisha Lance Bottom graduated from the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, Deanna Holiday Ingram, Booker T. Gaynor, and Melvin Carter graduated from the School of Business and Industry. To commemorate their achievements and dedication to the community and university while upholding the legacy and joining the ranks of many FAMU leaders that are serving their communities through leadership. And whereas, respectfully, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, Atlanta, Georgia, Mayor Deanna Holiday Ingram, East Point, Georgia, Mayor Booker T. Gaynor, Cairo, Georgia, and Mayor Melvin Carter, St. Paul, Minnesota, deserve to be recognized and honored for upholding the FAMU symbol of excellence with caring. Therefore, be it resolved that the Student Government Association and student body as a whole recognizes and honors Keisha Lance Bottoms, Deanna Holiday Ingram, Booker T. Gaynor, and Melvin Carter as they continually pave the way for present and future rattlers to take on leadership roles and serve the community.
Yes, Senator Plaisir.
Connor, the third. Say it again. He's the third. The third.
Yes, Senator Pro Temp.
Now, I guess my question would be more so to Senate President. Is there a way for us to send this to these individuals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Senator Osborne.
Would they be, I guess, individually sent to them? Because this has it all in one, like, they're in different states. Would they go to different, like, break it up, maybe? Would be my recommendation.
Yes. Senator Pro Temp.
I guess on top of JNR Chairwoman Osborne, if the intent of this resolution is to send it to them, I think it would be only right to, this will be a little tedious, but to write individual resolutions specifically for that individual, if we will send it to them, because, personally, I understand it's a kind gesture, but it would be a lot more heartfelt and sentimental if it just had that individual's name to it. Does that make sense?
Want to increase it?
Yes.
Sir, it's not, like, when you wrote this, was it just, like, for us to just remember, like, history? Or was it, like, honor them and we send it to them, like, as the student body recognize them?
Well, being that we are SGA, like this, like being a mayor is like, the outside of I graduate like life after FAMU. So I thought it would be good, so that we reiterate like the importance of this. But the reason, like touching back on what Rashard said, the reason that this is like they're put together, because this is the first time that FAMU's ever had like 4 alumni, at the same time get inaugurated or something as like something big as this. I mean, like in the article that the Office of Communications has released, they're all like in there because it is all at the same time for this cycle. So I mean, that's
Any more? Yes, Senator Pro Temp.
I understand that, but just to make this more effective, if you do plan on, if you do plan on moving forward and sending this to, the respective mayors, I think it would be wise to write different resolutions for each one of them. But that's just my suggestion.
Yes, Senator Lamar, my bad.
So it was just like I know you sent it to them. I wanted this to how you like
Quorum Senate President.
it's frame some I know like we have all the distinguished graduates, right? So like that type of all you go through, but when it's just students, respecting students, they don't actually go through it. They actually go through it.
Yes, ma'am. Question.
When I give my tours, I try to let them walk through that, but sometimes it's just a little extra.
So like, all right, so like showing that this is a piece of legislation, right? And I want this to be like put in the schools. Like picture frame showing that we do have rattlers in that are making because negative stigma around the school community said that we just come there and party with that.
I talked to Rakim about this bill, and one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to put this in like archives, just like we did with the resolution for founders of FAMU, Tucker and Gibbs. So I mean that would be the best thing for me, preferably, but that would be, I mean, the person that is like to get this.
I like that.
Do you want like 4 separate ones, or like what this bill?
It'll go in this order. Senator Carter and Ray. Is there?
Just one correction. I just wonder, why do you have second whereas clause, that's the third whereas clause, why is it separated? I would suggest for consistency, push that. Also, I think we should leave all their names in the resolution due to the simple fact that outside of FAMU, when legislators write resolutions or proclamations on the report individuals back to back, for example, under trustee Airman, they put all their names in there and gave copies to each and every person to have. So I think for the sake of time that we should just leave the names in there as is, and of course send it to the respective mayors who won the election. It's okay if all their names are on there. They all graduated from FAMU. We are a FAMU league, so I think it should stay as is.
Next up, Senator Hansberry.
Yeah, Senator Carter, I agree with that. I think like you were saying, Senator Snipe, what FAMU did is it's a monumental, feat for 4 FAMU rattlers in the same term elected for as mayor. So I think that's why they coupled them all together. So we should do the same. Continue to have for the resolution. I think that if we put some provisional language in there stating about how monumental it is for 4 rattlers during this term to be elected as mayor in these cities, and have that kind of maybe third whereas clause. And that way it can give some substance to why we're coupling all of them into one resolution. Instead of just being their mayor is for mayor during this time for all of them. So I'm saying? That's all.
Senator Plaisir.
I was going more with what Solo was saying, but also with what everybody else is saying. I think both of them are right. So just do both, as in do one single one for us to keep, we can put in the archives as a great moment for FAMU to have, all 4, alumni mayors at the same time. But I think it would be better to send individual ones to the individuals, because even if you look back, I think Carter, like him, if you look back, he was involved on campus with SGA and different things like that. So I feel like some of them might really take that to heart. They got something personal that they can keep from SGA, student government.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. The only thing I would say about that is that would equate to 5 more bills. So I'd be set up, turn it to 5, and then it would be kind of tacky for me to like just take out the names and then send them, the ones with the individual names. From a PR perspective, you want each one to be different. You don't want to just copy and paste the names just so they can be individual. Like I did say, this isn't. I get where you're coming from, but this isn't like just it's bigger than just them. It's not about the individuals. It's about what they did. Like these are 4 FAMU alums that got inaugurated as mayors, and not only that, but like we're talking about big cities. We're talking about Atlanta. We're talking about Cairo, Georgia. We're talking about places that this isn't a thing just for them. So I mean, I get what y'all saying about like the individuality, but I would hate to turn in something that was just you copy and paste it just so they can be individual. So like that would be 5 more bills with 5 different styles to make sure that they're good.
Senator Antinor. You have something to say, Senator Antinor?
I would say what Solomon said. Senator Lamar said. This is questions of intent, I guess. But in regards to what you were saying, I think what Senator I'm sorry, I was close. I think what he was saying was in regards to making it personal for each of them. Like you would include things that each of them did on campus. It wouldn't just be replacing everything just to get. You said it was tactical to do that, but I think what you were saying is figuring out things that they did on campus. So, but I personally agree with keeping it just one bill, and just keeping it like that because I understand your perspective and I agree with your perspective. But I was just elaborating.
And the thing is, I understand what y'all are saying, but from like a journalism standpoint, this is like a press release. I'm not going to give you all the information. That's for you. That's for you as students to look and see what they did on campus. So if like Keisha Lance Bottles ran for Miss Family, that would be something you would need to go find out. To expound on that legacy. Like this is just to honor them for this moment in time. Like you don't want to revert back to, oh, they did this on campus, so I can do that. No, you're looking at what they did after that. Like what did they make themselves after they graduated?
Senate President, I call for the orders of the day.
Okay.
All right.
It doesn't need a second.
Any final questions to intent and intent only on this piece of legislation? Remember, it's on first reading. Seeing there are no more questions, thank you for your time. If you had questions or questions, please send them up. Please see Senator Snipes offline so y'all can discuss that so it passes next week. Okay. With the author of SR 18SP0011, Emojible, please come to the podium. Senator Young, come to the dais, please.
Okay, good evening, y'all. So I'm sure you guys remember how over Thanksgiving break we lost a rattler to a car accident in and I guess with finals and everything that was going on, a resolution was never done. So don't want to forget about her. This is a FAMU 20 class senator initiative. We looked over it together because that was our last meeting. So starting from the second whereas clause, unfortunately, FAMU student Emoja Mullings passed away on November 27th, 2017. Emoja was loved by many members of the FAMU student body and involved in several student organizations on campus. And whereas Emoja was a beautiful spirit who was always smiling and always looking out for members of the FAMU student body, as well as the Tallahassee community. And whereas Emoja Mullings deserves to be recognized for the impact she made on the FAMU student body and lives she touched during her time spent at Florida A&M University. And therefore be it resolved that the Student Senate and the student body as a whole recognizes and remembers Emoja Mullings for her positive spirit, helping hand, and her selfless acts of love towards her peers and members of the student body. And I would like to add this put this on second.
Second. Point of information, that rule was still not waived. I'm looking it up now. I move to waive Rule 6.02, filing of measures, subpoint D, E. Yeah, that's it. Subpoint D and E.
We don't have move and second to waive. Internal procedure 605. Filing
602.
602. 602, subpoint D and E. Is there any readiness at this time to waive this rule? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by the sign of aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, motion passes. You may not continue.
So now I would like to move to add the piece of legislation on second reading.
Second.
The properly second add this piece of legislation on second reading. Is there a readiness at this time? Yes, Senator Jean Baptiste.
I make
Senator Osborne. Is that lit? Can she do that?
The motion passed. The motion passed, so you would have to make a new. Yes, it passed. So, Senator Hall, you have to make a new motion. Senator Pro Tem.
If that rule was waived for that specific, you never said it was for this specific bill. If it was waived, I think the second bill will.
I'm saying you have
we were
to
talking
amend
about
it because it
we
did.
were talking about putting the bill to come after this one on second reading as well.
Right. Pro Tem Rashard misspoke. There's more that needs to be waived. That's why I was saying you have to make a whole new motion.
So that being said, I move to waive Rule 7.01, procedures and readings of measures before the Student Senate, to its entirety, A, B, and C.
Second.
The properly moved and second to waive section 701 A, B, and C. Is there a readiness at this time? Seeing none, all in favor, please identify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Yes, Senator Lamar.
I just want to know, what's possible? Center.
The back of my own chair. Yes, you now have the floor.
Senator Hall, I don't know if you changed this yet, but I think I spoke to you and Senator President Ford about the author situation.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There's a max of 3 authors.
Right.
I just suggest that that you put yourself as the author and move the other senators, FAMU 20, as sponsors, so it's like a collective effort.
Okay.
Unless suggestions were made, of course.
Senator Jean Baptiste.
Oh, thank you. See that? See that? Don't tell me. I don't have to.
Senator Hansberry.
Just a few things that just don't set review. I guess for consistency purposes, on the end of the whereas, you have and the comma, and then and the semicolon for the other 3. So I'm not I'm just gonna make. I mean, are we gonna do a comma or a semicolon? Just to make it consistent. So I think it is a comma. Yeah, it's a comma.
Okay.
So we can change those and then also follow up.
12 granted.
Where it says the last whereas it should be instead of and, it should be now. So it should say Florida University, comma now, therefore, comma here. And then lastly, I would for
It wouldn't be.
it could be either or. I always wrote mine now, therefore. But it can't. But it needs to say now. Yeah, I've seen bills with and now, and then I've seen bills with just now. And then lastly, and this is at your discretion as the author, but I guess for aesthetic purposes, the column with the table, think I'll have it free flowing.
Okay.
And that'd be all. That's all the air is after. Good build up.
Okay.
Point of inquiry. I guess this is for everybody. It's just a question. I honestly don't know the answer to this. So seeing that she already passed away, and we always refer to the deceased as the late, but we have to put that in the bill title and refer it to as the late Imogen Mullings, or
we can, but for the bills that we've written this 47th
they've been
session, we haven't.
as Imogen Mullings.
So to be consistent.
Okay.
Yes, Senator Jay Carter.
Even to follow up with them, you could even just put the title as Honor Black.
Yeah, I would change the title.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, Senator D. Snipes.
Okay, the journalism that creates a comma splice when you put the and comma, because you already have and whereas comma, so you put a comma splice. So it says comma, you say out. After you say and.
So Vice President of the Student Government Association and
Whereas comma, because you already have a comma.
The column on the bottom D is.
You create a comma splice. So you would take the and comma out. So you take comma out. You don't need it. You already have it.
for which one?
They don't have it. Yeah.
I don't have
Tyler
it.
No,
I put
before
commas
the and.
before the and instead of semicolon.
You could have. I mean, you could have kept the semicolon because the semicolon would be a by the mistake.
Right. Well, I think what it was that when I wrote this, I looked at other resolutions that we had written, and we're honestly not consistent with how we write resolutions. So even talking about just looking at an official template for resolutions, and then change them to fit God forbid happen. So yeah, that's something that we're gonna try to address because it's not consistent. Sometimes semicolon, sometimes it's Is that okay? If I keep it? Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, Pro Temp Morset.
If there aren't any other questions or recommendations, I move to accept this piece of legislation with said corrections.
Second.
Then properly moved and second to accept this piece of legislation with said corrections. Is there unwritteness at this time? Seeing none, all fair please defy by sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Senator Green. Senator Bargamento. Senator Jay Carter. Senator Climbs. Senator Snipes. Senator Antonor. Senator Dumas. Senator Hansberry. Senator Lamar. Senator LaVille. Senator Seniors. Senator Myers. Senator Strong. Senator D. Ford, Senator Pozier,
Four.
Senator Williams,
4.
Senator Young,
4.
Senator Knox,
Four.
Senator Miller,
4.
Senator Jean Baptiste,
4.
Senator Hall,
4.
Senator J. Jackson,
4.
Senator Rios,
4.
Senator Osborne,
4.
Senate Pro Temp Morissette.
Highly in favor of it.
25-4-0 against.
Congratulations, the bill passes. Alrighty. Senators in the back may now enter.
Point of inquiry, Senate President.
Yes.
Did we waived the rule for first and second reading, but we didn't make a motion to put the other bills for the other students. We just did it for.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
So,
So the authors of those resolutions would have to make the motion or like hey,
Right.
we make
Okay.
the motion. Who? Here, Senator Dumas, take the chair, please. Excuse everyone, this is another resolution. Decorum, please. Thank you. Senator Williams? Decorum, please. Thank you. This is another resolution up on the floor. I would ask the Senate acting to entertain a motion to waive 602 violent measures subsection D and E, as well as section 701 A, B, and C, and I also put this on first and second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Yeah, I actually.
It has properly been moved and seconded to waive rules.
602 from subsection D, E, as well as 7, A, B, and C. This is on the second reading.
That was
Basically what I said.
Yeah. Is there any unreadiness at this time? Oh, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right, it has been properly moved and seconded to put this on first and second reading. The ayes have it.
Learning laboratory.
Yeah. First off, I'd like to change the title from Doctors to Honoring the Life of Alfred Montgomery. So I'll change that. Also, second whereas clause, while we were doing Taylorsville, I was making the corrections that follow. Fill out the most updated version. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's you guys. this is updated. The form, please. Should all be sent out. Yes. This is the motion. Starting from the second. Whereas unfortunately, January 6th, 2018, Florida A&M University Rattler passed away, Mr. Alfred Mountain, in a fatal car accident on his way to Tallahassee to start off his practice semester. And whereas Alfred Mountain was majoring engineering at MIT College of Virginia. Alfred was a unique kinship brother. Graduated from ULB in the chaotic late spring 2015. Alfred also proud mighty melodic bloody Upsilon side chapter, Mega Side. He was the 11th initiative of all 2017 lab, which is known as problematic 20. And whereas Alfred Mountain deserves to be recognized for his passion and Rattler pride, and I'm adding something. Passion, enthusiasm, and Rattler pride. Now, therefore, we resolve that the Student Government Association student body will honor Mr. Alfred Mountain, J school students. I've added.
Decorum.
Senator Knox.
It is.
Point of inquiry.
Senator Pro Tem.
We split this bill.
Yes. We split this bill because me and a few of the senators were talking, and we just felt that it seemed as though, I love Alfred, my life brother, but he was overshadowed. Ms. Brown. We want to make sure that we give them both the recognition that they deserve. So that's why we split up.
Senator Lamar.
Yeah,
Yes. Senator Antonor.
I don't need to. Well, Jason got correct. Also, I think that a code is also like to further elaborate and define something. So I think personally, that's what I have. So, if I'm wrong.
Senator Jean Baptiste, can you please take JNR? Senator Miller.
Permission to permanently exit.
Granted. You said Destiny? Senator Hassan, can you please take ENA chair, please? Senator Carter.
In the third whereas clause, you have Alfred Montfort III. When you mention his name on the next week, just use his last name. Montfort member, so you change out Alfred and put Montfort.
Senator Snipes.
Okay, the third whereas clause. Okay. Do we know engineering
Senator J. Carter.
Just real quick, in the second whereas clause where you have a past in a fatal car accident, can you change that to something less, severe? Just say passed away. Don't mention the cause of death.
Senator Hansberry.
It's the same thing I said with Senator Hollingsville, just for aesthetic purposes, to make it free flowing and take out the chart. And also to answer your question, Senator Anthony, I believe a semicolon is to separate two sentences, but a colon is to make a list. So say I'm going shopping to get these items. Oh, a toothbrush. That's what it is. So yeah. And that's all. Yeah, just for aesthetic purposes, I would take out the line.
Senator Antonor.
I just have a question. Well, what do you guys think? Mandatory more fluoridation versus plastic. That's just what I mean. It's not an E. It's just
Senator Lamar.
And like Senator Hansfield said, colon usually like when you're about to list things. So when you listing the different things as part of campus, you implement that. This is about to come off, or it doesn't. Okay. Good.
Senator Snipes.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't count because we're talking about big brother, little brother. They don't talk about it. So those are two. Okay, those are respective organizations, two different organizations. So you want to clump them together. You want to respect. Colon at the end of
Senator Hansberry.
And last thing, and just for clarification, don't you put it's Alfred Motlow, comma, the third? Don't you put do you put a comma after the name?
Nah.
You don't? No. You do. Because my brother does. He puts Tony Hansberry, comma. I mean, I'm not saying I'm just asking for clarification.
For this purpose, being that this isn't going in a newspaper, you can go ahead and add it.
But you can't put
You could put it because the writing style is totally different when it comes to like putting certain rules.
Senator Carter, you weren't recognized. Senator Hansberry.
If there are no more corrections, I move to accept SR 18 SD 00011 with any said corrections.
It has been properly moved and seconded to accept this piece of legislation. Is there any unreadiness at this time? Senator Hall.
I'm not gonna ask you to rescind the motion, but I still see like more grammatical errors. So like before we send it, can we have somebody look over it?
I would send
Oh, okay.
Decorum.
My bad.
Decorum in the gallery.
Okay. I don't know if you changed this already, but it says in the 3rd whereas clause, it says Alfred was alone a proud member. I think when you read it, you said also, but just in case, change it in the actual document. That's the only thing I immediately saw, but just look over it again just in case. Oh, and I move to accept. There are no further questions.
It has been properly moved and seconded to accept this piece of legislation. Is there any unreadiness at this time? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Moving to Secretary roll call count vote.
Senator Green. Senator Bargamento.
4.
Senator Jay Carter.
4.
Senator Climbs.
4.
Senator Snipes.
4.
Senator Antonor. Senator Dumas. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Senator Hansberry.
4.
Senator Lamar. Senator LaVille.
4.
Senator McClinton. Senator Seniors.
4.
Senator Myers.
4.
Senator Strong. Senator D. Ford.
4.
Senator Pozier. Senator Williams.
4.
Senator Young.
4.
Senator Knox. Senator Jean Baptiste.
4.
Senator Jay Jackson.
4.
Senator Hall.
4.
Senator Rios.
All in favor, bro.
Senator Osborne.
4.
Senate Pro Tem Morissette.
I'm in favor of.
Senate President Ford.
Highly in favor of.
Congratulations, your bill passes.
Senator Osborne, Senator Williams, you guys have permission to permanently exit. Senator Jean Baptiste, please take the JNR chair spot. Would the maker of SAB 18SP001 reinstatement of pay please take the podium?
Good evening, Senators. I'm going to forward this message to who has everybody.
Just send it to the 47.
Oh wait, no, I already sent it. Yeah.
Does everybody have it pulled up? So y'all already know what this is about, man. We're going to hop right into it. Reinstatement of pay. I think everybody's really been looking forward to this. So here it is, top of the year. So let's get into it. I'll start from the first whereas clause. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University Student Senate is the legislative branch of the Student Government Association and is empowered to pass legislation deemed necessary to carry out functions of the Student Government Association. And whereas the compensation of pay for student senate-related duties and obligations was cut for the fall 2017 semester of the 2017-2018 academic year during the 46th Student Senate session as a direct result of major budget cuts, and whereas the general consensus of the 47 Student Senate body has expressed a desire to move towards reinstating the traditional compensational pay for student senate-related duties, whereas it will serve as an accountability measure to ensure senators are performing their outlined duties as mentioned in the documents, and therefore be appropriated at $37,000 for the legislative branch of the Student Government Association be written to be used to reinstate pay. So for the $37,000, there are 4 chairs. Chairs will make $1,700 a piece, which adds up to $6,800 for all chairs. Vice chairs, there are 6 vice chairs, $1,200 a piece. $7,000 and $7,200 in total for them. 23 senators, $1,000 apiece. That's $23,000. That's the grand total, 37,000.
In this order, Senator Hansberry, Snipes, Carter, Dumas, Lamar.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. One, how was the chair position? How was the position thought about to decipher how much is going to go to each? Where did that?
But honestly, man, yeah, it came from the past budget. The only thing that's different, I'll be honest with everyone. The only thing that's different from the past budget is the chair pay is $1,700. In the upcoming fall, the chair pay $2,000 a piece per chair. So that's up from $1,500, and that's already approved for the upcoming budget. So that's not
Point of information. Chairs made 1,500 to my knowledge in the past budgets. 1,700 was
I said that chairs made 1,500, and I said
He said the chairs was the only one that changed.
Nah, this is first right now.
It's 2,000.
Right.
So we just made
Yeah, what I said was for the upcoming
decorum. Senator J. Jackson has the
2018
floor.
chairs will be paid $2,000 per chair. Like that's already been approved. So chairs.
For information, I wouldn't say approved, but it was submitted. When I did the budget for our branch, we decided as a Senate Executive Committee that chairs will get paid $2,000, which still has to go before the proper channels and then up to the Senate for final approval at the end.
But yeah, man, basically that decision was made in accordance with basically all of the pay. Basically from I would say pro temp on up got like more bread. So.
No, actually, pro temp got cut down. Point of information: pro temp got cut down to 3,000, and president got cut down to 4,000.
I'm saying before this budget was it the same? Better?
Yeah, everybody took a pay cut.
Everybody took a pay cut this one.
Yeah, me
except for chairs.
I'm saying before that was it cut? That's what I was.
It stayed even.
Final follow-up, Senator Hansberry.
Not a recommendation, and I guess I can word it to intent. We got consent of giving ourselves funding because if I'm not mistaken, we didn't provide enough really for either of the other branches, the J branch nor the E branch, to receive any funding. So we do need to be cognizant of how this is going to look from the standpoint of us using ANS fees to refund ourselves. So if in the future they come up and ask for funding for their positions within their branches, I do think that that's something we need to really think about before we move forward with putting this on fire.
I totally agree with it, man. I think that everybody should be paid. Everybody's giving their time and services to the student body. I think that everybody should be paid. But I mean, this is a bill for us that we get a chance to vote on. So that's that. The E branch, y'all can come up and that's the E branch.
Final follow-up, Senator Hansberry.
I can't help but to give a recommendation, maybe to take this back and see about adding
the other branches.
So if we added all three branches, it probably wouldn't be smart at all to like pay anyone. Because if we added all three branches, it would basically take up the whole budget.
In my opinion, then let's just not pay anybody because it's transparency-wise, it's not a good look for us to be getting paid and then they not get paid because who say our job is more important than what they do. So if we all can't get paid the entire branch, because already we don't look unified from outside. Now you have people talking about just the Senate getting paid, but they do their work, they've done their work all year. It's going to look definitely bad on us.
I understand that, man. I totally agree.
But it's not a recommendation. It's just something.
Yeah, I totally agree. But like I said, it's an L branch bill. We get to vote on. Y'all vote. Yes, it be that. I know, but I definitely agree. I mean, I feel for you.
Decorum. Like I said, in this order, Senator Snipes, Carter, Dumas, LaVille, Hall, Jean Baptiste, and Pro Temp in this order.
You forgot.
I'm so sorry. It's been a long time.
Okay. Senate President,
Granted.
OFC Chair, how much money is in that account?
So we got approved for 413.
Okay. Second question. Second recommendation, to better this. Being that we're in a half a semester instead of a full year, I wouldn't really think it would be feasible. $1,000 sounds nice, but I don't think it would be proper protocol to give us $1,000 for only a half a year's of work. So I would say downsize it and then use the rest of the money. I feel like EC is still continuing to better for their workers. So I would say we would still use the money that we have appropriated, but downsize everybody's pay to half or use the rest to spread the love.
What the? This will be for this semester.
My best recommendation would be to cut it in half.
If I'm understanding you correctly, like these numbers are semester, so that's what Chair and Vice Chair how that get paid per semester. So it'll go for.
So senators will pay $2,000, and
you gotta work that. They don't make it.
Senator. Senator, are you done with your series?
Yeah. So my best recommendation, I love the bill. I think we should be getting paid.
Senators in the back, decorum.
I think it'll bring back accountability as far as the Senate because once y'all get paid, y'all have no place to work. But I think we should keep this amount, $70,000, to where it is, cut it in half for us, and then get EC some money so they can pay their people.
But what you mean some? Because you got to compensate everybody efficiently. So you can't just say cut it in half and throw them some money. Everybody will have to pay what they get paid.
I mean, I don't know verbatim what the executive branch need as far as money, but from what I'm knowing,
that's so. I hope I'm not being disrespectful, but what I'm catching from what you're saying is that, like you just said, you don't know those amounts. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't know those amounts, it wouldn't be smart to make that recommendation. Because if we was to cut our what we have here in half, who's to say we still even have money? If it would be smart to allocate funds elsewhere.
I mean, the reason I said that because I wouldn't want to increase it to compensate everybody else because we only have $400,000 left.
Right.
We also have allocation. That's not what we did last year. Money was gone. So the reason I said it was keep this number, but then we're because the thing is we're showing paper. Like you said, this is a legislative branch.
I mean, it is. What it's gonna come down to is either we get paid. I mean, that's. I hope I'm not looking disrespectful as if I'm trying to I hope I'm not. But what it's gonna come down to is if we get paid or nobody gets paid, because it's not gonna be fair across the board. They try to pay everyone. It's not gonna be good for our budget.
I mean, I'm not trying to be fair. I'm just trying to make it seem like.
So it's either this or that.
All right. Decorum, that was your last question, Senator Snipes. Like I said, in this order, I see all the hands. It is a hand, first come, first serve basis. So like I said, Carter, Dumas, Lamar, Hall, Jean-Baptiste, Pro Temp, Strong, and Antonor. You have the floor, Senator Carter.
Okay, real quick, you talk about accountability. I have to disagree with you because I don't think bringing back money would bring back accountability because even in the past when senators got paid, they did piss poor work. So I'm sorry.
Jane, our chair.
I'm sorry, but I don't think that bringing back pay would ensure accountability when even in the past or even right now you have in the past people got
Decorum in the gallery, please.
And put in a lot of work. So I think that we should be measured on something different when it comes to accountability because we could bring back pay and people still won't do work, still won't show up meetings on time.
That makes perfect sense. I don't believe that reinstating pay would be the highest standard of measuring someone's accountability. Will it account for some level of assurance someone's accountability? Yes, it would. I don't agree. I don't stand for it being like, oh, this will bring back accountability. But I mean, that's not the point of like this bill. Whether we try to make senators like accountable or not. Like essentially, we can't hold anyone more accountable than they can hold themselves anyway. So I mean, that's really not. It's really not affecting what this bill like that is.
Final follow-up.
My follow-up granted.
And this is just for the L branch, so you don't have any thing prepared for other branches who. I'm just looking at transparency. That's all. I just wonder, like, y'all have anything in mind for like other branches and whatnot? Because we have to have.
I mean, as of right now,
we get paid, and then
the brighter side
doesn't get paid. It just.
I understand that. As far as transparency, I'm being as transparent as I can. It's not going to be in favor of everyone. I mean, this is our opportunity for us to get paid, and that's just the bulk of it. Yeah, I mean, that's all it is.
Decorum in the back, senators.
That's as transparent.
Dumas.
I understand what you're saying, because I would like to get but like, what about if we took that same money and we broke it up into book vouchers for every student, because we all money on trees.
Decorum.
If you're gonna put
Decorum, we can't do that.
I'm pretty sure that everybody not gonna. I don't personally need it. Like, I don't buy books. Like I get mine online. I don't. That's me personally.
Decorum, Senate chambers, decorum. I know this is a very vivid debate. Senator Lamar, you now have the floor.
All right. I see where everybody's head is going. So first, I'll point out in the sponsor. It's two W's instead of two E's. I want to put out a
Oh, wow.
Two W's? Two E's.
Oh, that was
somebody spelled Pittsburgh with two W's.
Oh, yeah, that was me. My bad. It's been a long break, as y'all know.
Second of all, a lot of senators are speaking about outside entities, outside of the legislative branch. You can't help outside your house, but when you help inside your house. I see exactly where you're going.
Decorum, please, y'all. Let's have some order.
Senator Snipes, decorum. You were not recognized.
Orders of the days have been called.
Onwards.
Order of the day was just called, so Senator Lamar, please make your statement. Senator Snipes did not say a word. You have the floor.
Thank you. I wasn't meaning it like that. I'm meaning as in it's an open playing field. Everybody, like you said, we are elected officials. If you have the grade point average and the credibility and the capability to complete the job, you are more than welcome to apply for the job or actually run for the job. And so be that we ran for the job and that we're doing our job. I'm not saying that the outside entities, as it's like you're saying, the electoral commission, the executive branch, judicial branch, don't deserve to get paid. But how can we go about paying, writing up legislation for them when there's no legislation for us to be paid first? I'm not saying that. Who knows in the future? We may have extra money in the budget to write legislation for them. But first, we have to handle what's inside of the house, as Mother would say. Thank you.
Next up is Senator Hall. Senator Hall, you now have the floor. Decorum, please. Senator Hall should be the only one talking. If not, you'll be getting a warning. And 3, you'll be asked to leave. Because we have enough for y'all to get kicked out. So please be on your P's and Q's. Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, I want everybody to keep in mind that the legislative branch is the allocating body of the Student Government Association. And L branch it's not L branch and then J branch, E branch. It's Student Government Association. We all work together. We just handle the money part and passing legislation. And then the E, y'all gotta explain y'all the documents. Y'all know. So, as a whole, what does it look like if the allocating body allocates themselves money, and then when the executive branch and the J branch come up as a part of SGA, we deny them because we don't got no money. Now, I want y'all to think about this. If you were not in the 46 student senate, then you weren't here when we funded all these things that we were funding, and then a whole bunch of organizations came up at the end, and there was no money to give them. We got $413,000 to give these organizations on campus that need this money. Now, I'm gonna be honest. When I ran, I didn't know we got paid. So when I got in here, it was like, oh, okay, great. Like, let's do that. But I didn't know in the beginning. So if you're here for the pay, then I'm sorry. I feel like you're here for the wrong reason. On top of that, I have a question, point of inquiry. Senate President, last year when we did the budget, was the EC, E branch, and L branch paid in the 46 budget? Were we all paid?
Every student leader or position was paid. In the ASBC, it was recommended to cut pay because that was like one of our biggest expenditures was pay for all the students.
Right.
Like I said, I definitely didn't agree to it back then. Now I can't really say too much, but yeah, in the past, all student leaders were paid.
Okay, so what I really want y'all to think about is that, like in the 46, we voted this pay out because we were like, oh, we don't need to pay. But a lot of people have changed their mind because once you get in different positions, if you actually doing your job, it's literally a full-time job. So I agree with, the L branch getting paid. I agree. But we can't leave other organizations out. And when you think about it, if we come up for funding and we have this allocation bill and we get our payback, then when the executive branch, somebody in their branch write a bill and come up, and then J branch write a bill, and then EC write a bill, and then all them bills come up before we even get a chance to allocate to any student organizations, what is that going to look like? So that's what we need to think about. I also have another question. Is this total like what we're going to get this semester or?
This semester, yes.
Right, so normally this would be the total for 2 semesters.
Correct.
But right now we're about to get all this money for 1 semester.
Your checks will be doubled.
So it's like back pay.
Like more money for essentially for a semester.
Okay. Well, all that to say, just
Senator
think about,
Snipes,
just think about what I
first
said
and final
about how
warning.
it's gonna look. Just think about what I said about how it's gonna look. I'm not against us getting paid, but when all the other organizations, all the other branches and entities on campus, because I know for a fact the EC is about to come up in the next couple of weeks for money. So when they do have the same type mindset about your pay that you have about theirs, and then when we don't have any money and send it allocated and the organizations come up, we have to have something to tell them. Like, that's all I gotta say. Like, just think about it.
Senator G. Baptiste, Dr. Pro Temp Strong, Antonor Knox, and Senator Young.
Okay, so I'm really trying to figure out what to say because my sister Taylor just said everything that needed to be said, really. So I don't see as to why there even needs to be debate more about this. It's either if we're gonna fund ourselves, we need to fund the rest of SGA and the EC. If we're not going to do that, then we need to just cut the funding out because we already made it past the first semester. We're not going to die another semester without pay.
So, with everything being said,
No, I got you.
like you said, we didn't die without it. So this is an opportunity to reinstate it. Like I said, it's maybe not the most fair decision, but it's on the table. So y'all both. I'm just I'm not a big
Senator Pro Temp has the floor now. It's
Okay.
Order, y'all.
I'm gonna keep it short and I'll be brief. I promise. I've been holding it in.
Decorum, please.
Decorum in the gallery.
Okay. Everyone keeps shouting out 413,000. While that was approved, keep in mind that we have. Yeah, remember, yeah, but we do have a Senate reserves that has to be filled and some outstanding balances. So in all honesty, it's not 413,000 that we have to expense. It will be roughly 200-something thousand. The final number will 389. Oh, addition. Okay, 389,000 annual budget. Okay, so get that 413. That's not a thing. Second, deputies did not get paid. From the previous budgets that I've looked at, deputies did not get paid. With this bill, I'm all for senators getting paid because I understand that this is time away from, opportunities. There's always opportunity costs. You can be, working a job or whatnot. So I'm all for senators getting paid. I was one of the ones who voted highly in favor of to cut the pay. And now I'm, reaping the consequences and I'm not a fan, So I'm all for senators getting paid. However, the method or the approach is totally wrong. First of all, I don't think we should be getting paid for the fall semester. I think it should be just spring and on. So that would automatically cut this in half. Additionally, I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said.
He's basically saying cut it to 500, so that way the fall you guys were kind of like just volunteering.
Pretty much cut every. No, that's not what it comes. That's not what it comes out as. So as the chair is making 1,700, as opposed to that, you would cut 1,700 in half. Vice chairs, instead of making 12, it will be 6, and senators it will be 5. That would leave some room for us to throw in our directors and secretaries in the executive branch at 500, because that's what they were making in the previous budget, as well as our associate justices on the Supreme Court at 500 each. If we added all of that in, I did the math earlier this semester, it would come up to just a little bit above that. I believe it was like roughly 40,000, but you're looking at 47,000 that covers over 40 positions versus 37,000 that just covers our in-house, and I will resign if this bill passes. Real deal. Like it just shows a lot of character with our 47th if this bill passes. Just throwing that out there.
Interesting. Senator Strong, you now have the floor.
But I'm all for getting half or just saying monthly and let's just start getting paid off so that this is good.
Senator Antonor?
This is outrageous. I would say you cannot. It looks very selfish. Very selfish. I'm sorry. I will say this. I don't mean to sound very, but I was laughing the entire time because the fact that we want to get paid. I don't got time. It's done. Sorry. It's done.
Senator Knox?
Okay, all right. Well, I want everybody, the opposite side of what everybody's thinking. I think about it's the approach, about how you see it. I agree. The executive branch should be paid. I agree. The J branch should be paid, and the electoral commission should be paid, and they should be paid for the time that they put in the fall time. And I have no problem, no issue with helping them out, with another piece of legislation, or even adding this piece of legislation on, and everybody getting paid in SGA. That's no issue whatsoever. People are saying that it's going to look bad if we do it for ourselves, and I agree. And that does question our character, and that does question the ethics of this student legislation. But if we come from our state, because everybody was in 47, 46, all remember when we made that vote about cutting it. We all understand that mistakes that we made, and now we're trying to change that. And so to cover back from that, I see no problem with us getting paid for our fall in the springtime. Us cutting it in half, I don't really understand why we're just getting paid for partial pay. Because in all actuality, if you think about it, then that means we're just getting paid a quarter for doing the entire school year work. So, but like I said, the approach was the issue, and that the approach was that it was just the legislative branch that's getting paid, and I do not agree with that. And I agree that the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the EC all should be getting paid. They should all be getting paid and getting catch-up cash, or whatever you want to call it. So what they're doing, and so that's why I say
Decorum, please.
Point of information, Senator Knox. I agree with everything you just said, except for the fall and spring thing. Just some information. Just doing my calculation. That is, well, it's a point of information. I don't have to be recognized.
It was recognized.
So that's 28,000 plus 16,000 on top of 37,000 and about 10,000. Say no more. I'll take out 10,000, and then I'll take out 8,000. Explain 73,000 to the student body.
Senator Young, you now have the floor. Decorum. Senator Young, you have the floor because you've been waiting patiently. No problem.
She passing it to me. I agree with more said. Because if you think about it, we're like the biggest branch. So like, once you divide it in half, like he said, it's common sense. Like we'll have to add a little more cash to it, take a little bit more cash, but we'll be able to fund everybody just for this semester because we are the biggest branch. Once you divide it, we got about 30 people in the Senate. Once you divide that money in half, you should have enough left to pay everybody else at SGA because they don't have 30 people sitting in their meeting. You know what I'm saying? They got about 10, 15 people. The money adds up. Does it not?
So lastly, I'll say I respect everyone's opinion. Basically, man, this bill, I thought it was a great bill, but like we all know, the bills that we bring don't always leave the same way that we bring them. So I'm glad of all y'all's suggestions and all that. So what I want is for something to come out of this, whether cut it in half, keep it, don't do it at all. Like, I appreciate what's going on. So like, let's make a decision. Time for that.
Point of information, is this bill on point of inquiry, sorry, is this on first or second reading?
It's only on first reading.
I'll move to put it on second reading.
As you can see, it would fail, fam. It would fail. Senator Hall.
Okay, so I think like when we first heard the general idea, let's reinstate pay, we was all like, yes, because I know I was like, you feel me? Okay, but anyway, I don't think we thought about like what would come up, like everything I said previously about the other branches, the other entities, how the student body would feel. It was an initial like me reaction. So I don't know how the rest of the Senate body is feeling, but I mean, we went fall semester without getting paid. It'll be the middle of January by the time this bill even go through all the budget. It might be February by the time the budget office actually respond to us. Then the spring semester will be over. So, and we already made the budget for us to get paid next year. So it would just be a 47th, one session that didn't go without pay. So, I don't know, like, if there's a motion or anything about, like, not having the bill at all, like, no bill, but, yeah.
You can always make that motion if you felt compelled to do that.
How is that work?
I move to table.
Oh, I moved to table this bill indefinitely.
Ooh, it was second. It was second to table this bill indefinitely. Basically, for those of you that do not know, moving to place this bill table it indefinitely would basically to kill it. So basically, this bill will not come up ever again in this session. No, it would.
That's not.
Maybe it would come up, maybe, but with everybody else. But this one just for us would be.
So
Yes. Basically, basically, one second. Basically, like I said, table indefinitely would mean the bill will not be able to come back up. However, if you do a different bill with everyone in it, it would be a different bill. So this one, just for us getting paid on this, like format, that would be like dead. Does everyone understand? Alrighty. Most probably move to second. Table this bill indefinitely. Is there going to bring this to the main motion at this time? Yes, Senator Snipes.
I asked the maker of the motion to rescind their motion, change it to table the bill, fix it with cutting it in half and involve the executive branch and the electoral commission
Decorum, please. Senator Hall, you have the floor. Do you accept or decline the recommendation? She has the floor.
I'm going to decline the motion because we can write a totally different bill. That's a lot.
So y'all plans to pay
Decorum, the motion's on the floor.
pay everyone how much money?
Senator Jackson, motion on the floor, fam. So basically, the motion on the floor, she did not go through recommendation. So is there any further readiness to the main motion to table this bill indefinitely? Senator Knox? By all means, you can. Decorum. Is there any further readiness to table this bill indefinitely? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by the sign of aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The bill is tabled indefinitely. It was on second roll call. Yes.
I just wanted to know who's going to author this bill.
Whoever wants to do it.
Okay, so thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Now moving on to SR 18 SP 003, the Naya Brown bill. Senator Carter, you now have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful break. This resolution is on first reading. I had to make some corrections to it while I was sitting at the chair because I got some new information. I'm just going to read what I have thus far. I'm going to start with the first whereas clause. Whereas Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University Student Senate is a legislative branch of the Student Government Association and is empowered to pass legislation as it deemed necessary to carry out the functions of Student Government Association. And whereas, unfortunately, on January 6th, I. Brown passed away in Shelby County while in Tallahassee, Florida. And whereas Anaya Brown, a native of Chicago, Illinois, was a rising star in the engineering field, worked with diligence and vigor to achieve her goals. And whereas Anaya deserves to be recognized for her drive, endurance, and rapid spirit, and resolved that the Student Government Association, the student body, as a whole, recognize and honor the life and legacy of Anaya Brown. Have anything you want to add to it, let me know. I'm in contact with a few people who are close to her so that this can we can add more information to it. And the reason why it's on first reading is because it's fresh and I'm waiting for more information so I can know what address or what funeral home to send it to when the funeral services do happen for her.
Yes, Senator Hall.
So like I know it's on first reading. So we talked about not putting it on second like we did for trade because how the lack of information that we have. Okay, so my question is, we don't know funeral services yet, but how are we gonna go about doing that? Because we have to have a session to put it on second to pass it. You know what I'm saying? Unless we're gonna fix it real quick and then return back to it at the end of the meeting and pass it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if the funeral's this weekend, then we already.
Sorry.
Oh, you have the floor.
I don't. Did you get clarification?
So no, I didn't. They didn't say anything about the funeral, but her friends gave information that we could add in the bill, and we just separated the Fallen Rattlers bill today. So I'm asking the Senate how we're going to go about that. We would have to call a session just to pass the resolution if we don't fix it now, and then you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. So
is that the last bill on the floor?
Yeah, that's the last bill on the floor.
Okay, so
doing people that are speaking and lobbying. Y'all can make the motion to go direct to point.
I move to come back to SAP. No, that's not it. Okay,
I have a question before you.
Point of information, I would suggest that we table this bill and then revisit point speakers lobbying, point J lobbying and speakers forum, and then when we're done, we can pull the bill from the table. That's what I would do.
So
it gives you guys time to do handiwork in the back.
okay, so I move to table the night. Okay, I rescind my motion. This one.
Because I just got these corrections. I don't know how fast they would piece this together.
We gotta
I can help.
Okay, if y'all gonna help me, that's fine. I had it placed on second reading for the. Yeah, we can do it.
Okay,
We'll
so
do that.
I move to table the United Brown resolution until the end of the meeting after we revisit speakers and lobbying.
The problem with seconds to revisit this bill at the end of speakers and lobbying is your readiness at this time. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. So we are now on speakers and lobbying. Senator Jay Jackson, you now have the floor.
I have Mr. Bowers to come.
JNR Chair. JNR Chair, yeah, 5 minutes when you start talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening. This is the 47th Senate, right?
Yes, it is.
Good evening to the 47th Senate. I am Darius Bowers, a senior political science student from Miami, Florida. It's good to be back. Just want to raise a concern that I had happened at the same time. I'm sure most of you are familiar that, are aware that the Gaither parking lot and the parking lot adjacent to the gifts and dorm for student housing, whatever you want to call it, has been closed. The third level of the parking garage was closed for last semester, and I'm not sure how long before then, due to some safety hazards. But to my understanding, has been opened back up for student parking. It's been brought to my attention by quite a few students that there's issues with parking. A lot of students have been parking in Palmetto South parking lot and walking back up to campus. And just overall, there's just been a major issue with being able to find parking on campus, as we don't, for those of us who can drive. So my concern I want to bring to the Senate. I have been in communication with a representative from Dr. Hudson's office, and to my knowledge, the only commentary that was made in regards to the parking is that something is going to be done. And that's a very broad statement. There's no specifics on what's going to be done, no timeline on when it's going to be done. And so I feel as though as we being stakeholders of this university, us being paying students, that we should be accommodated as such. Our funds are being paid so that accommodations such as parking will be made readily available. So this is just the idea of something that I want to raise up to the 47th Student Senate. I am interested in even going as far as students parking in administration parking spots until some type of resolve is given. But before going to that, I did want to come to the 47th Student Senate to get the ideas of the Student Senate.
Senator Lamar.
Howard, what you're saying isn't true. I actually, yeah, I expressed that lack of parking on campus is something that we already don't have. Building up a cash center, something that's going to be eliminated. So this is the response to my perception of Dr. It was said to me that the same thing that is happening right now happens every day on FAMU's campus. For example, you go down to Foot Field administration, you need to go to the registrar's office or to financial aid. A little loop, there's not enough parking there. The gravel area, there's not enough parking right there. And also on the side of Dormy House, Truth, there's not enough parking right there. And like in other places, old DRS building, I believe, what's building there?
I know there's some arts classes.
Yeah, like there's something held in there. And it's just, the problem is FAMU's campus doesn't have a parking period. But this is what I grasp from with the building of the CAS Center, right? Because when you get that overflow of orientations and their families have the cars, they have to go to these places and these places. They're tending to park way over there, back and forth stadium, correct? And they have to walk way up to the field. With the building of the CAS Center, right? They can park at those places like by us in the Brandon Porter Stadium and don't have to walk that far distance because everything will be right there at CAS Center. Beating the fact that there's already no parking on campus is going to make some things closer that it's a little more, but not defeating the fact that there's still no parking on campus. So my answer wasn't answered. I mean, my question wasn't answered, but it was answered. That makes sense. That's what I got from it. I'm not saying that's what he said verbatim, but that's what I took from it. Right. And that's why I just wanted to, because I know you said like that wasn't a good enough answer from office activities. I wouldn't have took that either, but that's why. Just giving a little more information. I don't agree. I don't 100% agree with it, but I was just giving you that. What was told to me. Thank you.
Senator McClinton.
So, I mean, like, you know, like we all know. I also know was that, or at least what I thought, that, or at least from what I observed, was I thought they're going to take green space. But I don't know. Am I doing this?
They said it would be too much money to demolish the. They said it would be too much money to demolish the dorming house to take it down.
Well,
You have the floor. Senator Blackman, not in chair. I see Senator type to yield.
yeah, when some of the freshman senators met with the Robinson about because obviously that's an issue. He did talk about the green space, and I don't know if he specifically said that they weren't going to demolish. I think it is to demolish and then build drag close to the emerging from the practice fields. But also what he did state was that he was looking into some kind of deal with the parking lot at Bragg because they do own those spots, so some kind of partnership with own their spots through the week, not on the weekends, of course, on the games. But he was looking into that partnership. So you can go obviously talk to him about that because obviously that wasn't a satisfactory answer. Now, as the Senate body, we should of course we did approach documents about this before. So yes. Oh, and the green space, it still might be happening. And so that would be Wayne, Diamond, Copper, and Wheatley. And that could be a continuation of the lot that is already planned.
Senator Snipes.
Okay. For clarification, the CAS Center won't be completed till I think it's spring 2019. So I think what y'all are missing is that we're talking about now. We're not talking about, and it's very interesting. The freshmen are speaking on an issue that has been ongoing since I've been since summer B 2014. The problem is, like me, Rakeem, and Simone talked about this in the 46. Once the CAS Center is built, they're planning on moving the pods and stuff, and then hopefully building a garage center there. But the CAS Center won't be finished till 2019. The issue is now that students are missing class, being late in class because there aren't accommodations for them to park. So the thing is, like, we understand that y'all are saying, like, hey, this is an issue, but the thing is, we're the students. Without us being here, there is no FAMU. So like the thing is, if we're not in class, there is no school. So the thing is, we're talking about an immediate thing. We're not talking about something that's going to be down the road because that's the thing that's being missed. And the thing is that students are having to park all the way to Palmetto South and they don't even live over there. But when you're going to get told or ticketed, and then for two, that's way far, especially if you're a J school student. That's on the other side of campus.
I understand, but what you weren't.
You weren't recognized.
Oh, point of information. But I said is that right now he's going to a partnership with the spots at Bragg, the owners at Bragg right now. That's what so I said that to my no, not for the games, like for through the week. Like a partnership, like right now. To alleviate the issue right now. I wasn't saying it. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like, I feel like the
So
thing
there's
we're
not-
focusing on is now, not like
So-
not down the road.
You weren't recognized. You were not recognized. No, we're not doing this. Not this year. Hansberry, Mar, Bargamento. That order. Go.
Yeah, two quick things. Y'all are looking for something right now. Parking is not just going to up and just up here. We don't have no space on this campus. Our campus is closed, and only most. I mean, I don't know if you can attest to it, but I'm probably sure that Morehouse, Spelman, those inner city campuses that are built within the city, and then everything else expanded around it have parking issues as well. This is something that every university within a centralized area face, and especially us being in a black community, already limited with our space. So parking is not going to be fixed like that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that I just forgot. But I do think that we should rally behind you and support the initiative to ask more about parking services. Oh, that's the thing. So y'all gonna laugh at me. Y'all gonna come at me sideways about this. But I took the city bus for a full semester, fall of 2015. I moved out to the Commons, and I had a car, perfectly running car, had gas money, all of that. But I decided to take the bus. I was like, it's a city bus that rides right in front of Commons. I can get on the city bus. I can go to the main hub, get on, Moss, and come to campus, be on campus, and it runs all the way until like 10:30, 11 at nighttime. So I know you may not want to tell the constituents to take the city bus, but we already paid for the city bus without city fee. We paid $33 each semester for a transportation fee. That's not being used, I'm sure, by nobody in this room. I used to take the city bus, and the city bus is dead comfortable. Now in the big city, I wouldn't take the city bus. But in Tallahassee, it's friendly. And I'm serious. I'm so serious. So just think about telling the constituents. And if they act bougie, it's people who have cars who really do take the city bus because it gets you to campus. And by the time you find a park on campus, I got to campus in 40 minutes. And by the time I would have driven to campus, found a park, and got to my class, that would have been 40 minutes. So you're sitting there, you're riding around for free in a sense because you already paid for it. And you don't have to worry about parking. And you can stay on campus as long as you want. So that's something I told constituents back in that day when they were asking about the parking issue, because parking is not going to change like that. And so we need to tell students to utilize these different activities and these different processes we have already initiated on our campus. So that's just what I would say to everybody, to tell everybody, because parking is not going to change in a day. Just like financial aid is not going to change in a day. And we do have things in place though for students to still get around the city comfortably. So that's all I can say for that.
In the back, may I enter? Lamar.
I want to say Hansberry because what he was saying was that it's not a FAMU thing; it's a college thing. Period. So I try to express trust me, I have my car, and it's very hard to find a parking spot, and that's just period. You're in a congested city like Tallahassee. This is the capital. Some things like we're built around other things, so it's going to be very hard to find places where you can actually put parking on the campus. Because you really got to take things we're on and hit it first of all. Like certain things, landscaping is just not paid for certain things that people have to take into consideration. So I wanted to voice to the actual student body to let them know that what they're saying is not actually just being swept under the rug, because I feel like they might think, okay, we express this to the Senate, but us as freshmen, seniors, and a couple of sophomore and some people have expressed these things to the provost, president, and other officials here on campus. And one other thing they expressed to me was, Bobby, you can help me along with. I believe that we can't receive government funding for residential facilities. So like, say for instance, we wanted to demolish those. We can't receive government funding for those things because of some. So when we go rally for these things at the Capitol, those are certain things that we just can't actually. The space just isn't there. And I'm all for it, but like he said,
said, there's other alternatives that the school does have in place, which he said the city does. Another thing that we brought up was the venom, how small it is. People missing the venom, different things like that, and not being able to make it pass on time. In which the officials said they're working diligently to get those bigger, get that partnership back with the Star Metro, or get those bigger buses for our students. Because like I see the people on the outside seem like the work is not being done. But they said, I just want it to be here for everybody that what we're actually lobbying for these things with the officials on campus. That's what I'm trying to do. Because from the outside looking in, no, we don't do anything, but we're actually trying to get these things done for the students. Of course, we're students first.
Argumento?
Okay, so I totally hear what Senator Hansberry and Senator Lamar are saying, but I do not agree. I agree actually with Senator Snipes and Mr. Bowers here that we need to find some accommodations because when they're, like I said, it comes out of tuition, paying for us to be able to park on campus. And then also when we're getting ticketed for parking somewhere we're not supposed to because there's limited parking, you're getting added $90 tickets. $30, $40. They add up, and you then have like $1,000 worth of tickets to pay for because you can't park. And they're telling us we just have to deal with it and take city bus. It don't work that way. I think we need to find some type of way to accommodate students because we don't have money. They're taking our money from us. We can't find nowhere to park. We're just trying to get to class so we can graduate. So I think we need to find an accommodation, work together.
Senator Hall?
Okay, so at the last Board of Trustees meeting, that's when they made a decision to start the building and groundbreaking of the new center that's supposedly supposed to go where Gibbs and gave the parking lot is. Because if you remember, last year they did a groundbreaking right there, and then nothing happened afterward because of funding issues or whatever. So apparently the university has found the money to start building that over there. I would say this is a direct thing that the Board of Trustees has power over. And we, as senators, students, we have a voice, but our sole voice to that specific body is our student body president. So anything that we have to say needs to go through him. My solution or whatever it may be right now would be that because we held off on building this building for almost a year now, we wait till the summer to do the groundbreaking or whatever it is while students aren't here. How do we get that voice or that concern or reasoning out? It would be to give it to the student body president. So as far as you, thank you, Darius, for bringing this to our attention because students have been talking about it all day. As this body, what we can do is have Senate President email Devin, Trustee Harrison, email Trustee Harrison, memorandum, however we want to do it, saying we need you to talk to the Board of Trustees like ASAP about this. And then when it's put on the agenda or it's brought up, we as students be at the meeting in support or whatever. Because one thing that I noticed that, first of all, at this Board of Trustees, and this is just a side note, at this Board of Trustees meeting, there were like no students. It was us three. And they were talking about decisions that affect us. So, like, we can lobby, and I was with the freshman senators when we talked to President Robinson and stuff like that. They can say what they're going to say, but we know how FAMU works. We know. So I think the best thing to come out of this tonight would be for Senate President to write that memorandum to SGA President, and then whenever that board of Trustees meeting comes up next, we just go. We notify you and the rest of the students, and we're there in support of whatever it is he decides to bring to the Board of Trustees.
Senator Snipes.
One thing I want y'all to take from this, FAMU is expected to go back to 13,000 welcome students. We still don't have 2,000 students. So just like this issue with parking, we need to be adamant about the other ongoing issues that are going on. because the thing is, just like Darius came up today about parking, next year it's going to be housing. And housing is a big issue, and we don't want to be in the news again about students not having any, pretty much being homeless in college. So, the biggest thing I want y'all to take away from it, like we have to continuously be adamant about what's going on, because just like with this issue with parking and going to the board of trustees meeting, there should be no reason that the legislative body isn't at these board of trustees meetings. Because the thing is, our documents go to them. If they don't know our faces, how can we expect them to, look for our best effort? They sign up on what we can do and what we can't do. So that's the biggest thing I want y'all to take away from this. I know parking won't be something that is immediate, but let's try to catch the bigger things that are down the road that are upcoming.
And point of information.
Granted.
So, like Senator Smack said, more parking, that won't be immediate because that's been supposed to happen for the past how many years. But them holding off on building the CAF Center until the summer or until a more appropriate time is figured out as far as where we're going to have students park, that can be immediate. That can happen at the next Board of Trustees meeting. So I don't want us to talk about this tonight and then go home. That's something that immediately can happen. We may not be able to change parking as a whole at this moment, but that's something that we can do right now. And also think about like the safety of the students, because I know several students were talking about how they opened up the third floor of the garage, and if you've been here for a while, you know that the garage, the third floor has been closed for safety reasons, and now that there's no parking, we open it. So FAMU has a habit of doing reactive measures instead of proactive. So before the administration even sees the issue, let's see it now as we see it as students, and then go ahead and talk to the Board of Trustees about it.
Senator Jackson. Any other recognitions for? I was about to say Senator Bowers. Mr. Bowers.
Yeah, we appreciate you, dog.
Isabel ready? Senator Carter? Isabel ready? We do? Granted.
National championship.
Yeah, it may begin when you're ready.
All right, we're gonna start the second whereas clause at the simple bit. This is what I have thus far. Unfortunately, on January 6, 2018, Florida A&M student Anaya Brown passed away. And whereas Anaya, a native of Chicago, Illinois, was a rising star in the School of Engineering, majoring in industrial engineering. Brown was also a member of the National Society of Black Engineers, and she also, along with her friends, founded her own mentoring organization entitled Brown Coffee.
Like
mentoring program, founded a mentoring program along with her friends entitled Brown Coffee. She worked with diligence, vigor to achieve her goals. And whereas Anaya deserves to be recognized for her drive, endurance, and relentless spirit, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Student Government Association and student body as a whole recognize and honor the life and legacy of Anaya Brown.
Would you like? Well, are gonna make the motion. Put it on first and second.
You already waived the rule.
No.
No.
I move to waive Rule 6.02, filing of measures, subpoints D and E, and Rule 7.01 into its entirety, A, B, and C.
Second. The properly moved in second to waive Rule 602, filing of measures, subsection D and E, as well as 701 A, B, and C. Is there any witness at this time? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by a sign of aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Beckman now enter.
Okay, so I know Senator Knox had his hand up, but before he goes, I just want you all to check up and give honest feedback, because the reason why we tabled this is because we didn't want to just throw anything together. You know what I'm saying? How Trey's resolution was very thought out and whatnot. We don't want to just throw anything together for a night. So just give us your recommendation.
Point of inquiry, can you guys email that out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Please. I hate these.
Yes, Senator Nor.
I like the fact that you guys elaborated chiefly on things. That's what I was initially. Just like in the report, the part y'all address this stuff. So I think I'm
Right. Feel free to add anything to it. I'm gonna take off the brackets and make it nice and flowing so that when the family receives it, it's pretty.
Sure.
Check your emails.
Senator Hansberry.
In the third whereas clause, do you mean to capitalize mention organization?
I don't think so.
No, that was a mistake.
Pro Champ Webster. Marset. I did just call you Webster. It's been a long name.
In the second whereas clause, can you shift the comma to be before the and.
The what?
Shift the comma before the and
Oh, for the second.
for the second whereas clause. And also,
Okay, the end to the third.
and yeah, add the and to the third.
Senator Hansberry.
If there are no other recommendations, I move to accept the bill honor.
Is that on readiness? Senator Antinor?
I just wanted to know, like, third whereas clause, when it says mentor, you guys think it should
He stated that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because the name of the organization that she founded is already capitalized right there.
Any further on readiness at this time?
Yeah, just
Yes, hold on.
Senator Hansberry, one last recommendation. It was short and sweet. We typically bold the be it resolved and add a comma on that last one in the therefore clause. That was my last unreadiness, but do it now.
Be it resolved, comma?
Yeah, and bold the three letter, be it resolved.
Any further on readiness at this time to the main motion to accept the piece of legislation?
Also, that is how you spell her name, correct?
Right.
There was an H going around.
There's an H in it?
No, I said there was an H going around.
Oh.
Seeing none, all in favor, please identify by a sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Senator Green.
Oh, where?
Senator Barton.
Four.
Senator. Senator Jay Carter.
4.
Senator Clowns. Senator Snipe. Senator Antinor. Senator Dumas.
4.
Senator Hansberry.
4.
Senator Lamar.
I'm in favor.
Senator LaVille.
4.
Senator McClinton. Senator Seniors.
4.
Senator Myers.
4.
Senator Strong. Senator D4.
4.
Senator Kazir.
4.
Senator Young.
4.
Senator Knox. Senator J. Baptiste.
4.
Senator Hall.
Highly in favor.
Senator J. Jackson.
4.
Senator Rios. All of it. Senator President Morissette.
Highly in favor of.
Congratulations, the bill passes. Yes, Senator J. Baptiste. Do we have quorum?
Yeah. Wait, let me check.
Might as well wait till
Senator Stites, please take the J&I chair. Question granted. Now moving on to point Q, Senator Secretary report. Senator Secretary, now the floor. Having on the point R, open forum. 2 minutes, sir, from the back. Senator in the back, would you have anything to say about open forum? Senator Knox.
Excited to see what bill y'all bring to the state, but also encourage that we focus on not just our branch, but other branches and reinstating their pay. Yeah, I'm not for the half, but I did some because they're not based on the choose. Some people were in the committee meeting when it passed, to say switch sides. But changed the decision around it, and then now all of a sudden it became an issue. That's either here nor there, but I still have no issue with Senator Jackson's initiative, which he made, and I give him high praise for it. But I do agree with the philosophy that Senator Hansberry spoke about with the other branches being paid. We should definitely be considerate of everyone around us. Senator Solo said that, he said that we do have to take care of our house. We also have to consider that SGA is a part of our house. And house is private.
Anyone else like Senator Plaisir? You now have the floor.
I just want to be the first. Visited. Welcome back, everybody. And pay attention. Stay focused. And what's most important, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think all the senators made it back to the Senate to the issues of their grades. So that's just a verification that we need to focus on why we came here first. My last semester, I'll be graduating. It's been real great. I saw my contract today. I'll be in Germany with the military. Got married for a while. So it's all good. It's all love. Just stay strong. And,
Senators in the third row, like to say anything? Up before 2 minutes.
After every 30 years, I just want everybody to meet me. Be a defensive job. I know sometimes somebody talk, but please be deciding when you get country.
Anyone else in the third row? Seeing none. Second row. Senator Lamar.
How you guys doing? Like she said, nice seeing everyone back. To make this a productive semester, everyone was in the students first official. I just wanted to clarify what I meant by what I said. Like that. I didn't say I wasn't working, but I'm saying I seen where Senator Jackson was coming from with this bill. I wasn't saying like, no, forget about all those other branches. No, that's definitely not. And then, so I'm just going to say with the bill that I want to author, I plan on allocating funds to pay all the other just and electoral. So if you have any suggestions, please email me. So when the bill actually goes to the floor, all the suggestions that you're making doesn't go in vain, because the same suggestions could have been sent to my email. You won't have to spend that time in actual Senate. That makes sense. So I'm saying any suggestions that you might want to see in the bill, that you might want to see on the bill, please send to my email while I'm making it be known that I will be writing the bill, taking these suggestions. And let's make this a great year. Everybody stay safe.
Anyone else in the second row? Senator McClinton.
Hey everybody, it's good to see y'all. Ready for a new semester. I apologize. As Uncle said, so that we get we have all this shit take so it's good to see y'all back.
Anyone else in the second row? Seeing none, first row, Senator Jay Carter.
Happy New Year to you, everybody. It's good to be back. Happy to see all of you all back, even though it is sad that we lost two students. My biggest prayer this semester is that we all just come closer as a student body on a whole, love on one another, encourage one another, pray for one another, and just be there for each other. I pray that this is going to be a successful semester. I look forward to seeing great things together.
Anyone else on the first row? Seeing none, bottom Ds. Anyone from the bottom Ds? Say anything at this time? Senator Hall?
Okay, hey y'all. So I got a couple things. So one, Happy New Year. Wait, still okay. One, Happy New Year. I'm glad that you all made it back safe. Two, shout out to J Jet for writing the bill, because now you opened up a discussion for us to figure out how we're gonna do it with the rest of the branches. So shout out to you. Three, remember why you got in the Senate. Remember why you applied. Remember why you ran. Your initial reasons for running, and don't forget those. No matter what we go through in this session in here, no matter who's talking to you, whatever it may be, remember your initial goals for getting in the Senate. And four, y'all know I do like scripture and whatnot. But my motto for 2018 stems from Philippians 1:6. And basically, what it talks about: be not discouraged and be not dismayed, for our God that started a work in you shall continue to perform it. And I don't know about anybody else, but 2017 was the gag year. It was awful. And I know a lot of people in here were dealing with a lot of things in 2017, and you came in here like everything was okay, even though it wasn't. 2018, I don't know what it is, but I feel like 2018 is that year. And I know like a lot of y'all probably follow me on Twitter, so you saw my thing about the 8. And 8 biblically represents rejuvenation, resurrection, and new beginnings. And I thought it was crazy that we started class on January 8th. And so when I saw that this morning, I was like, okay, God, like, what's up? Like, you can just pour out these blessings now. So, yeah, all of that to say that I just have a really good feeling about this semester. So, y'all know I'm always praying for y'all. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. That's it.
Yes, Senator Jay Jackson.
Well, glad to have all of y'all back. As y'all all know, I lost one of my line brothers, man, so it's a beautiful sight to see all y'all back, man. It really makes me appreciate life a lot more. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave that there. Speaking on to my bill, I'm glad that everybody has so many opinions. Like I sit up here so I can see a lot of the faces. A lot of y'all look at me sides. I know some of y'all might got some ill opinions, but like this is what the Senate is about. We are all student leaders. We all come here to put a hand in for the student body. Beyond that, none of this really matters. Like in the grand scheme of things, like FAMU, the Senate, like no one really knows about this or really cares except for us. So that's what this is about. Like coming and putting your hand in. Like stop taking all of this stuff personal. Stop letting the SGA consume your life. Stop giving your life and your thoughts to this life. Just to piggyback off what she said, like it's so much more to life than this. So stop coming in here like with like so much on your mind and so much tension. Like make decisions. Voice your opinion. Like this is what it's about. Like this is all health. Like think about that. Also for Senator Solo, for y'all to write this bill, I dropped some logic in the group meeting, kind of like a foundational standpoint about where we're coming from with the bill. So hopefully y'all can use that. But yeah, man, like just to piggyback off what she said, some of y'all just chill a little bit. Like life would be a lot more happy. Like I smile a lot. Maybe people might think I'm like playful or something, but I'm happy with life because I don't let a lot bother me because I understand what's important in life. So I suggest that some of y'all implement some of those words and thoughts to y'all.
You know, on the bottom Ds. All right. Move on to the top Ds.
All right, first thing, this is my last semester. I'm graduating May 4th, 6 p.m.
Okay.
The stories I can tell. Oh, Jesus. Second thing, I want to say I'm glad to see everybody here. I mean, we did lose a few senators, but I mean, one thing I want you guys to always remember, like freshmen, sophomores, underclassmen, you always, your student for a leader, don't get caught up in the sauce. SGA, it's life after FAMU, all that stuff. 3, Solo, I'm willing to sponsor your bill and assist you in making this a pass. 4, session starts the legislative session starts tomorrow for the Capitol. Don't forget it. One thing I want y'all to remember is the engineering school and the law school. I mean, after session, we got shook tables with that type of thing. So always be actively, abreast on what's going on because they usually gets the back end with those type of things. And the final thing, I will be emailing my plan of action for this semester, hopefully by the end of this week. Me and Rakim are working, bouncing ideas off each other, working to, make sure that the seniors leave a stamp, even though we kind of have been fluctuating throughout the years. So if you guys want to assist with that, I'll leave descriptions and things for y'all guys to look at. That's about it.
Senator Morissette.
I don't know if anybody, well, of course you guys saw it. I left all of the group meetings because I really let SGA consume my life, and like Jack was saying, all of that applied to me fall semester. Every last bit of it. SGA was everything, and that's why I left all the group meetings, all the committee group meetings, all of that. I just needed a break from everything, and I feel rejuvenated. I feel good. I feel happy. I'm glowing. I'm dropping some heat on Instagram. Once we get out, I'm going to drop some heat. I just feel really good. And though this year got off to possibly the worst start it could possibly have, like I cried in bed, when I woke up to that news, like tears, like full-blown tears. That really broke my heart because, that's three parents, 3 families who have lost rattlers from my class within 2 months of one another, or within 2 months of each incident. It only stresses, what can we do to stress transportation safety or vehicle safety, whether it's a seatbelt or driving, whatever it is. Like, we have to do something. We have to do something. Even if 5 people show up and we have a seminar, even if 5 people show up, that's 5 people we know that we impacted. We have to do something. That being said, called for grade and hour checks last week. Those notices will be sent out tomorrow. They're finalized. They'll be finalized tomorrow. Not going to speak on that. Just make sure that you all stay in your books this semester. Spring semester is totally different. Freshmen, there's not a whole lot of activities. There's no homecoming. There's no housing step show. We know that was the best event of homecoming. It was, high key, just throwing that out there. It's a real mellow semester, so just make sure that you focus and, you stay on your P's and Q's and you network and, you just end the year off with a bang. That's all.
I have really nothing to say. I know we're all pretty tired, so I'll just leave my remarks for maybe next meeting when we have a little bit more energy. Now moving on to final roll call, Senate Secretary.
Senator Green. Senator Bargamento. Senator B. Carter. Senator J. Carter.
Here.
Senator Klein.
Here.
Senator Snipes.
Here.
Senator Antonov.
Here.
Senator Dumas. Senator Hansberry.
Here.
Senator Holder. Senator Lamar. Senator LaVille.
Here.
Senator LaQuinton. Senator Seniors.
Here.
Senator Myers.
Present.
Senator Strong. Senator D. Ford. Senator Butterfield. Senator D. Jackson. Senator Cozier.
Here.
Senator Williams. Senator Young.
Here.
Senator Knott.
Here.
Senator Miller. Senator J. Baptiste. Senator J. Jackson.
Present.
Senator Hall. Senator Rio. Senator Eden. Senator Osborne. Senate Pro Tem Morissette. Senate President Ford.
President, I adjourned this meeting at 9:08 p.m.